Welcome to the Enlightened Normal Dudes podcast. I'm Cory.
I'm Sean, and welcome to our second episode.
Killed it.
It was a struggle to get to this point today, just so everyone knows.
All
Cory
sorts of issues.
dropped the ball. He's got too many tabs open. I wonder what he's doing on that side.
I may have fallen into a little bit of a sound effect hole and
Clogged the CPU some?
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
Nah, I will never bow.
All right, so what do we got on the menu today?
All right, well, first off, I would just want to tell everybody thank you for watching our first one. And yes, exactly. It was the first one was a great episode.
I got you to bow already.
Oh my gosh, you did. Well, we appreciate everyone watching, and hopefully it just keeps getting better and better.
And hopefully we can just have good conversation. There was a lot of funny comments. We got a kick out of it, and not only did we get a kick out of it, but we certainly appreciated all the feedback and the likes and whatnot. Really
Yeah.
meant a lot to us.
It was amazing, and apparently we have to do a special edition for Cory's mom because everyone wants to know the tea on that legend.
Truth, and she's more than willing to be part of it.
Well, you know what? Maybe she might be guest number one. We can see what she has to say.
That's going to be a wild one.
Well, I mean, we have to see who created the legend on the other end over here, Cory.
Agreed.
Because, if I don't even have words to say about that, because she must be a saint to put up with you all through childhood and teenager and
Bro, she created
20s.
this.
I know. She created that mess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want to thank her.
You should.
Just so you know, Cory and I were dying about laughing with some of the comments, and I just want to say my beard might be the Vespa, Cory's might be the Harley, but John, I just have to say Vespas get 50 miles to the gallon, and your beard looks like you need to tune up with a weed whacker.
Yeah, I always hear conservatives going around talking about how much they care about miles per gallon.
Yep, I mean that's what I'm saying. So apparently,
mad street cred, bro.
Mad street cred. Got that Vespa. Listen, man, that's a 49cc.
That is.
Well, some of them are anyway. All right, so we got you know what? Keep everything coming. Keep the comments coming. We enjoy looking at them, and if you want to be featured, please throw some roast at us because we'll gladly roast you back.
Absolutely. And not only that, people that want to be on, I mean, obviously the first few here, we're just going to get a feel for it and kind of get our bearings. But after that, the whole idea is to have a community of people that come on and, again, try to bring people together. As long as you have that common mission of trying to, bridge those gaps and have good conversation, dialogue, even if it's just about representing your side, but doing it in a positive way and trying to get people to maybe understand you in a better way and, again, bridge those gaps. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. So just a little bit of what we're going to do tonight. Today we're going to be bouncing off some current events. The economic shutdown is one of the biggest ones that I think that we'll be tackling tonight. AI, and are we living in a simulation? How do you feel about that? Do you think we're living in a simulation?
I think it's as reasonable a theory as any other. I don't know that you could really say that one makes more sense than the other. And as we've advanced more technologically and we understand that we can make these really advanced systems, and again, we're just on the precipice of it. Yeah, I mean, and then the question is, like, are we in a simulation that's in a simulation that's in a simulation, and so on and so forth?
Multiple instances of the simulation.
And then if you want to do like the Zen Buddhist thing, does any of it even matter?
Oh my gosh, you had to bring that in. Well, I think we should tackle the first subject of the night that as of October 1st, basically Congress has botched the spending bill and has forced government shutdown. So far, there are 800,000 federal employees that are on furloughed. Parks are shut down, and even essentials like Social Security are in jeopardy at the moment. Um, what's your take on this, man?
Well, again, to be fair and to not be partisan about it, I think that it's always good to look at, again, quote unquote, your side, right? Because it's easy to look at the other side and try to cast blame. This has definitely become a thing in recent years that, particularly if a party is a complete minority, meaning that they, don't have the Senate, they don't have the House, and they don't have the executive branch, meaning the presidency, then this is like one of the few levers that they see as a point of leverage. But again, it's like an awful point of leverage, right? Because this can screw us up with the world economy, particularly in the way that they view us as being stable. So the less stable we're viewed, the less people are investing in our currency and backing it. Then that's when we have inflation. That's when we print more money, so on and so forth. So it just becomes this crazy cycle. But I mean, there's no good answer. It's become so normal, and again, for both sides, it just sucks that this is where we are. And
It's
so
great,
basically, the side that's in power is like,
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
of course,
Willy
of
Wonka.
course. Um, well, you know, the the last major shutdown was 2018, 2019, and it lasted for 35 days with
Right.
$11 billion hit to the economy. Um, so currently, there's a lot of projects on the table, like a $18 billion project for New York City to fill potholes, and that can't even be funded. So I guess New Yorkers have to deal with living with potholes for a little while longer. Um, I think the main point,
That is very sad.
yeah. So I'm not trying to make light of anything, but
No,
there are
no.
some pretty crazy things in the bill, and I can actually see both sides of this on this one. Um, you know, the liberal side, they don't want to lose any benefits for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and I don't think anybody wants to see that realistically. I just
Mhm.
think it's a leveraging point for each side to get what they want out of it.
It's just sad because, our leveraging in our governmental system has become so toxic and, just, Darwinian, right? Like, it's law of the jungle, and, we used to have all these norms, and over time, they've been chiseled away, and obviously we feel it out here just being the normal people, that's what we talked about in our first episode, and
Sure.
so you see that reflected in the government, and again, hopefully, if we can all start talking to one another, then maybe the next time we go and vote in our primaries and then our generals, maybe we start to think, "Hey, we want people that are gonna take the temperature down, they're gonna try to work with one another, maybe they're gonna try to restore some of these norms." Because we can't keep going down this road. It's insane,
No.
and again, regardless of each thing that we parse here for the shutdown, it's not good for our overall economy. It's just another chink in the armor of the world looking at us and saying, we don't really trust these guys too much, and we already have economic problems with inflation, and so anything that hurts our currency at this point is just oof.
Well, the current proposal would, I mean, I see it from the conservative point of view, obviously, because that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, what was it in the first episode? You're absolutely conservative?
Absolutely conservative and fiscally responsible. Maybe not, but
Maybe you are.
maybe I am. Um, but no, this new spending bill proposal would add actually 1.7 trillion to $2 trillion to the
Mhm.
deficit, and I'm not entirely sure that's something that we can sustain.
Well, no, I mean, the entire reason we're where we are right now is deficit spending. So, I mean, if any of us ran our households the way that the federal government has been run, basically since Clinton, right? That was the last time we had a minor surplus. Um, and you can get into all different sorts of stuff, particularly the wars that we've gotten in, and we haven't raised taxes historically. Whenever you get in a war, you raise taxes, right? And because it's so easy for the citizens to be detached from that reality that at least if they have to feel it in their pocketbook, maybe that makes them think about it like, is this really worth it? And
Sure.
we've waged these wars for like 25 years now and not paid for it, cut taxes, which is insane. And then of course there's several tax breaks that have gone through. There's been the COVID money, all different sorts of stuff. We can find all sorts of stuff that doesn't need to happen. But the deficit spending, just increasing our inflation. I mean, when you look at the problems we have, it's that your money doesn't go as far. Like, we're in our early 40s. We know what it was like. Dude, I remember when gas was like $1.14 when I was 18. You know, and again, that's just one example, but it's kind of a
Was that in the
ubiquitous
same?
example. Yeah.
Uh,
That's kind of like a ubiquitous example that everyone will understand, but it goes for everything. And so it's just that money doesn't go as far as it did, and that's because we keep printing, which deflates the currency and so on and so forth. But the reason that happens is because we deficit spend, and so you just have to keep injecting money in, and it's psychotic the way we're operating. And I
no,
think, to be
exactly.
fair, you know, and even if you go back to like the big beautiful bill, and again without parsing it like crazy, just more deficit spending. So you have what, 5 trillion of deficit spending there. Now you're talking about another 1.5 to 1.7, whatever. Like, this is insane. What are we doing?
No, exactly. But just so everyone has a frame of reference on some of the spending in this bill, I was talking to Cory earlier about this and we were cracking up. So I just want to let you know $1.2 million for lizard treadmills. So it's an NH.
You know what laugh that is?
I do not know that what laugh that is.
That's did you ever watch The Princess Bride?
No.
Oh my god, dude, classic. That's one you gotta watch. You gotta watch it.
Okay. I'll have to
Anyways,
watch it.
go ahead as you were, sir.
So the lizard treadmills was an NHI study for the metabolism of lizards running on a custom treadmill.
Just out of curiosity though, like, do we have any of the reasoning behind that? Like, what were they?
No, I don't really have the reasoning behind it, but that's just the description that I was reading.
All right, I gotta look into this a little bit while you're reading off these other
How
ones.
about the Afghan book club for women at $500,000? This
Do
is
you
in
think that they have,
Afghanistan, not in the United States, by the way.
which is crazy, right? Because they have more book bans than we have here.
Well, I don't know anymore. I heard about what was the I got to look at the name. What was the name on that? The in Florida, anyways, I'm not going to go there. And my personal favorite, the effects of cocaine on Japanese quails at $518,000. That is some solid research right there.
I don't know that I would want to spend 518,000 on it, but I would certainly throw down on just getting enough to give it to a few of them and making sure that we could put it on YouTube.
So that's an NHI grant, how cocaine impacts quails' mating behaviors.
All right, let me see
Uh,
here. We're doing some live checking here on what this lizard treadmill business is.
yeah, maybe you can figure that out because I was pretty confused on it.
I mean, when you hear it just like that, yeah, that's hmm. The only thing I'm seeing so far is like biomechanic studies for robots.
I don't know, man.
Oh, wait. There's a history of them using treadmills to on animals to enhance their immune response so that they can study how they respond to bacteria and then try to what's the word I'm looking for? Use that information towards human beings.
Sure. Maybe it's Maybe
There's
it's a very
some
good. Maybe it's very solid research. I don't know.
Reddit's got some cool stuff about all this animal stuff. Like there's a Bobcat P study related to pest control. Doesn't say how much, but that could be a whole episode in and of itself.
I'm thinking the smart toilets for elderly is a good one too.
Now, so here's the thing. You're talking to the wrong guy here because we have 2 toilets in our house and we have bidets on both of them.
Listen, I'm for that one because that one's great. It's
Once you use a bidet, oh my God, you will never go back.
Well, it's for diagnosing health issues. So, I mean, that could actually be okay.
I mean, you're getting into the more advanced one. I'm just talking about just being able to rinse.
That's only going to cost $2.5 million a year. So I mean, drop in the bucket compared to 1.7 trillion, I guess.
It's true. It's true.
So we'll just print it. It's fine.
But I think that's the crazy thing, right? Is like when you look at a lot of these things by themselves, when you look at the entire budget, it's not that much. These are quote unquote drops in the bucket, but they all add up to this behemoth amount.
Sure.
And it's just wild. It really is wild what we're doing. I guess the big thing, I don't know if this was your next segue, the big thing that the liberals are holding out for is healthcare, which is my understanding, and making sure that it's funded to the level that they want, meaning Medicare, Medicaid, I think even subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. Am I missing anything there, sir?
No, I don't think so. I think that's you're pretty much right on track with that.
There is one big thing that I would just like to get out there.
I already know where this is going because I want to say it as well.
I don't know.
Sure. I'm pretty sure. If not, you go ahead.
All right. Again, just in the interest of having real conversation and being real about what we're talking about. Illegal immigrants do not get insurance. What they get is access because we as a country don't turn people away. So you can make the argument that if somebody doesn't have insurance and they're here illegally, that they could be taking the spot or slowing things down for American citizens because they do get access. Because, and this is what's fundamentally flawed with our approach to healthcare. Essentially, our system is socialized, nationalized, whatever, because we don't reject care for people unless it's a prior authorization.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, if you show up to the hospital, assuming you have a legitimate medical concern, you're going to get care. So yes, illegal immigrants can get care because, I mean, let's be real. Sean, you and I work in the hospital. Like when you see somebody in the hospital who needs help, you give them help, you know?
Yep,
like
exactly. It doesn't matter what we don't ever even think about any kind of financial
and it's
thing.
just a matter of being a human being. It is perfectly fine to have a policy discussion about how that affects American citizens, but let's be real about it. Okay, these people are not getting health insurance. They're not getting Medicaid, Medicare, all this different stuff. Are they using services? Do hospitals have to eat that charity care? Does that make premiums go up for the rest of us? 100%. These are real conversations to have.
Are they getting 3 meals a day, sitting in 5-star hotels, getting prepaid visas? That's a whole nother topic on its own.
Exactly. But again, we're not doing ourselves any favors by falling into this hyper partisan thing and just saying things over and over again and trying to get people twisted up about it. Like, let's be real about it. Like, yes, they get healthcare because they're human beings when they show up. We know that we have a duty to care for people, not turn them away, make sure they're stabilized. And yes, do the hospitals have to eat that charity care? Does that affect premiums? Can that slow down care for American citizens? 100%. But are they getting Medicare, Medicaid, all this? No. Just stop saying it. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm pro capitalism. I think that every corporation should be able to make as much money as they want. However, there is one thing when it comes to insurance companies that just burns me up. Yeah. They make on average $4 billion a year in profit while denying critical care to patients. And for me, even being a capitalist, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I think You know, it's so interesting because even on our lifetime, right, we've seen some of these big issues flip between conservatives and liberals. And that's the cool thing is that when something becomes blatantly apparent, and I think we could argue in our country that it takes way too long for things to become blatantly apparent, but definitely on this particular issue, people are wising up. Like, I remember during the Affordable Care Act, when they were trying to get it passed and whatnot, right? And people are like, well, I don't want the government between me and my doctor. Okay, it's a valid criticism. But having anybody between you and your doctor, including somebody that's trying to turn a profit, is equally as bad, right? So, like, the idea, and I know that you've dealt with this, I've dealt with it, pretty much, I'm sure everyone that's listening has dealt with it at one point or another. This whole prior authorization game and waiting and delays and denials and, oh, if they just would have documented it this way, and then you have to go back to your doctor, pay another copay. They document it the way that they said that they're supposed to, but oh no, we deny, oh, we don't have that on formulary anymore, just this constant nonsense. And so the idea that a physician um, sees a healthcare issue, they choose how to prescribe, and just this constant game of you not getting the care that's being prescribed by a physician that went to school for this, it's insane. And why are we okay with anybody, any entity, whether it's a capitalist entity trying to turn a profit or the government, being in between that? It should be best practices, right? As long as you're meeting the criteria, things are documented appropriately, show that you have a need for whatever thing it is. Like, of course, there needs to be criteria that needs to be met, thresholds that need to be met. But like the way that this is going down, and people are getting wise to it too. It's insane.
So my frustration is, I won't name the company, but it begins with Express and ends with IPS. Just so you know, I had a medication prescribed for me, and they denied it immediately. Of course, I was like, I know this is going to happen. So then I decided, you know what, I'm going to file an appeal. So I'm on the phone with the lady. Very nice lady, by the way. Their representatives are very nice. I mean,
Well, thank God for that. So at
yeah,
least they
no
could,
kidding. Yeah, yeah. At
at
least
least
they
you
can
could,
do
at
it.
least you
I
can have
said,
a.
I'd like to file an appeal. She's like, okay, I can file an appeal for you. 15 seconds later, it was denied. How in the hell did you even look at my chart that quick? Like,
Yeah, it's
I mean,
obscene.
seriously, this is just obscene. Like, I can't wait
Yeah.
until we get a different insurance carrier.
Yeah, when I was the office manager for that physicians group, I took on a lot of the prior authorizations just because we were spread pretty thin, and it was crazy the amount of time. Now, these were patients that were asthma and COPD patients, and usually these prior authorizations were sometimes related to like inhalers and stuff, but infrequently it was more about biologics, so injections. And there were some really great injections, and I mean, they made a massive difference for these people, and the interruption in treatment was like seriously dangerous for their health. But I mean, no kidding, there were times I would spend 6 hours on the phone cumulatively, maybe over the course of a few weeks, for an individual patient, which is just obscene. There was one where, like, I kept getting kicked back and forth between 2 companies because, a lot of these, um, mail order pharmacies, they'll change, who their formulary is or whatever, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
no, so and so is covering that now," and you'll get kicked over there, and they'll be like, "Oh, no, 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 but they're supposed to handle this part." And, like, it's just this, it's crazy. Like, it shouldn't even be allowed. Like, if you're gonna be in that business, you should have to be able to operate in an efficient manner. You shouldn't be able to just eat up people's time and just, like, beat them, into submission,
sure.
with these games. It's insane.
Sure. I'm on a medication now. And what was really funny is my physician actually pushed through the medication. I didn't know she did this, but Publix calls me and said, hey, good news. Your prescription is covered by your insurance plan. I'm like, oh, that is great news because I was paying about $50 a month or so for a compound pharmacy to make it. And they're like, yeah, the copay is $700 a month. I'm like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
And so, like, what's the
Like, it
point of
is
having
absolutely,
insurance?
yeah. Why would I need insurance? I can get it compounded for $50.
And a lot of people don't realize how much insurance costs, particularly because if you are fortunate enough to work for a bigger corporation that has good purchasing power, they pay the majority of it. But a good insurance policy, at least a couple of years ago when I was the one that was choosing them, was like 8 to 9 grand a year per employee. So,
No,
I
it's
mean,
it still I mean,
well,
I know.
at that point, it was actually going up. So historical norms were that it would go up around 7% per year. But even when I left there, which was 2022, 2023, it had already gotten to a point where it was going up between 13 to 17%, depending on different plans, which was just insane. It was so that's like a whole impending crisis that, we can do a whole episode on eventually. But people don't realize like the amount that's just being paid for you to have a policy is insane, and then these guys have the balls to be like, "Oh, no, we don't pay for that, we don't do that," or, just
Well,
constantly going back and forth with your doctor.
and making $4 billion profit. That's after they've paid all the claims.
And so this is a good question for our country to have, and again, I'm not pushing my stuff, but just
Listen, it works out in my favor because I invest in those companies, and
no, I
when they make
understand.
money, I make money.
But
Like
but re
overall, like
but the reality is, I'm sure you would prefer to give up the profit you're making there if you could just have efficient healthcare that was delivered to you as your physician prescribed.
I think that there needs to be checks and balances, but I don't know if the checks and balances should be as extreme as what they are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But by the way,
Uh,
those medications, they're working. They're working. You look
well,
great.
yeah, no kidding. Thank you. I
Want to
appreciate
say
it.
something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back. I want to be on you.
That's-
Wait.
Nice. You've been waiting all night to use that.
Bro, there's so many here. I'm just like scrolling up and down and like, okay, how can I work this one in?
That's fine, man. I get it.
Yeah, no, it's fun, man. And hopefully people find it fun as well. We're trying to break up the monotony. We talk about some of this stuff and they aren't necessarily sexy topics. I think the people that are listening are definitely people invested in hearing and learning about this stuff and having conversations. But certainly if we can have some fun in between.
Yeah, we got to have some fun because, we can't just be all political here.
No, no.
We got some good topics coming up in a little while, though.
So what do we got? What else we doing?
Next on the agenda is the jobs report, and apparently there's recession vibes, which no one wants to ever hear that.
So Sean, I want to
Yeah.
get your opinion as a what did you say extremely conservative? Definitely conservative? I think it was definitely
It's definitely conservative.
So as a definitely conservative person that is a capitalist through and through, how do you feel about tariffs and the way that they're affecting things?
So far, it's definitely causing more inflation.
Which I mean, sadly, like it's common
You
sense,
would,
right? Like you put a tax on everything, the price goes up.
well, yes, if so how capitalism works, if no one understands this, if a good costs $1 and it costs $1.50 to make, then now the company's not going to eat that cost. They're just going to increase the price of that good. That's typically how it works.
Yeah. And I
Um,
would encourage liberal listeners, my fellows uh Democrats, liberals, whatever area you fall in. As I've gotten older and I've researched more of this stuff, like you'd be surprised. A lot of the stuff, like capitalism, really is good. Just look at, for instance, the Jimmy Kimmel situation. If you're somebody that felt like the way the government was intervening with Jimmy Kimmel, what changed that situation? Capitalism.
there is good news. I heard that rumors of a $600 stimulus check due to the tariffs.
Yeah.
So that should pay my
But all
car
joking
payment.
aside, capitalism really does. It does work. Unfortunately, what we have over here is more of like a crony capitalism,
Yeah.
and it might be getting a little even more crony. And not even getting into the politics of it, because I think any people that are in proximity to power are tempted by all this stuff. But just with these large corporations and the purchasing power they have, it's crazy.
I just want to tell everybody that I think that Cory and I right now are bringing it down a notch because we don't want to overstep our bounds. If anyone has any comments
Yeah,
about
but
these
to be honest
subjects,
with you, Sean,
yeah,
I don't even know that I am bringing it down a notch. Maybe you are.
yeah.
But for me, I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted of being like hyper political about stuff. Like most of this stuff falls in the middle, and like if we're fair about it, like, hey, as a liberal person, I'm telling you, I see why capitalism really is the way to go. Again, though, when you look at the issues we have, let's talk about healthcare, right? Like, you don't really have capitalism. You have a few companies that essentially are quote unquote competing against one another, but price fixing and then using the same types of really shady business practices to deny people and do all that shady stuff. That's not capitalism is really allowing, the market to have as many entrances as can get in there and try to drive costs down. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's the issue. So whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's your actual medical care through your insurance, whether it's whatever. If you let consumers drive with their dollars, it usually works out pretty well.
Okay. Well, I mean,
So
unemployment
ha
right.
ha,
Ha
Sean.
ha ha. So, the tariff tanks the GDP, by the way. S&P's worse since 2020 at negative 9.1%.
Yeah,
And
the
yeah,
argument here seems pretty straightforward, regardless of how you feel about Trump and his different stuff. I think there's a very good argument to be made for tariffs, particularly when it came to our national security or industries that we needed to rebuild. But the whole saying, right, is you use a scalpel to go in rather than a tank. And I think
sure.
that they just went in with a tank, and then even when you look at the way they're calculating these tariff amounts and
Well, he
stuff, it's
had to go in and make a statement and say, "Hey,
fair point.
we're getting screwed, and we're gonna do exactly what you're doing to us." And
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was the message, and I don't think that tact would have worked against other countries.
Yeah, yeah, and so
I think he had to actually go in heavy and
and
heavy.
that's fair, and I think that you could make the argument that a couple months into it, when everything had really gotten shaken up, that you probably had achieved whatever, strategic advantage you were gonna get from shaking things up. But now we know, like, I mean, like, it's the writing's on the wall with all this stuff. And again, if you're not doing it for specific industries, like you're trying to rebuild manufacturing to what degree you can, you do that. Anything that's for national security, so whether you're trying to protect your steel companies or whatever other stuff. Chip manufacturers is a big one, right? Because AI is the next frontier. So we have to be very careful with NVIDIA because they're the big GPU provider that really accelerates AI. So there's all these different things, but yeah, just this broad-based thing. And the problem is that tariffs are a regressive tax, so they indiscriminately hit people that make less.
Well, I've always said for years, and you can vouch for me on this. You can see how well the economy is doing based on diesel prices.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
diesel's what moves your goods. That's what gets it there. Shipping prices are what drive the price of the goods you ultimately receive.
Yeah,
And you get reasonable diesel and inflation starts going down because the cost of goods
reasonable
start going
diesel.
down. Reasonable diesel. You don't have a sound effect for that, do you?
Well, that's buddy.
You'd be
Yeah.
surprised. But no, I've been saying that the cost of oil is directly related to everything,
I thought.
everything to
Sorry, God.
like end user basically,
Yeah.
like the cost you're paying at the store.
Which I'm surprised with this whole thing because I think the whole thing with Trump getting in right was that people. Border was a huge one, right? They totally messed up the border last 4 years. There's just no way you can get around that. But
Yeah,
the bigger thing was just in general, people felt like, okay, this is a businessman. He's just gonna get rid of regulations, back up, let the economy do his thing. And so I think that's where people, whether they will come out and say it if they're a supporter of his or they won't, I think most people feel like, dude, why are you putting your finger on the economy so much? Like, back up and let it do its thing, like you did in the first term.
exactly. Well, I mean, I'm not pointing fingers, but the last administration, came in day one and said, we are going to make stricter standards for the EPA and literally shut down 11 refineries. That's why
Hmm?
the price of diesel and the price of gas went skyrocketing.
That was a big part of it, but then Ukraine, that was
Yeah,
a
I
big part
mean,
of it as well.
listen, there's a lot of other factors. Yes, I know the
Yeah, yeah.
cost of the oil itself, but the main catalyst
Mhm.
was the EPA regulations on the refineries, and literally shut down 11 refineries like
And you know
overnight.
what? This will segue. I forget which topic is next, but just keep this in the forefront of your mind just to bring it back, because in talking about um, vehicles and energy, right? This is one of the big things with AI, and this is one of the big things with capitalism. Because
Exactly.
the whole problem with, like, for instance, liberals with the green energy, which we do need green energy. We have to be very mindful of the environment, but you also cannot force it when it's not when it's still cost prohibitive, right?
So crazy idea getting onto the green initiative, like,
Yeah.
and getting better miles per gallon. You know, why not create an all electric vehicle that has a small diesel generator in it that creates the power?
Well,
I
so
mean, you would
yeah,
literally get 100 miles per gallon and you'd never have to plug it in.
yeah, I'd be lying if I said, like, I have never been mechanically inclined. I'm a computer guy. I can open computers up, mess with them all day. Vehicles, no. But this is where, when we talk about AI, where we're seeing these massive leaps. AI is going to bring the cost of things, should, assuming that, again, nobody's putting their fingers on the scale or messing. But in a free market, AI is going to start to close all these loops that we haven't been able to, that just cognitively we
Yeah,
can't get
but
there.
leading into the next segment, like,
Yeah.
is it a super intelligence or is it literally a job apocalypse? Like, it's just going to kill jobs.
Oh yeah, 100% both.
You, I mean, currently Salesforce, when you're talking to somebody on any of the major companies, like for customer service, 50% of them are
Yeah,
AI now.
100%. Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever tried to return something to Amazon. It's almost impossible because the AI doesn't get that, hey, I didn't receive the item that you sent
Mhm.
me. And
Yeah.
they're like, we don't understand. Can you
Yeah.
please repeat? Oh my gosh.
Well, but the funny thing is that they're gonna get better and better and more
Yeah.
responsive as they roll this stuff out. They just actually, I don't know if you were paying attention to this, but Google Veo, which we actually use to make our intro and some of our other stuff, which, I mean, it's really impressive. When that came out just a few months ago, so it's a video AI. People are already saying, like, "Holy crap, like, the end of Hollywood is already closer than we thought." And don't make any jokes. I know that a lot of people will be happy about that, but
We don't want any deep fakes around here.
yeah, yeah. But it's already that
That's
good.
illegal, by the way,
Yeah, yeah.
just so you know.
OpenAI now just came out with theirs, I forget the name of it, and incredible the leap it made over Google Veo already, and we're just talking a matter of months. But this is what I don't think people are processing, is that this is gonna happen way quicker than you think, because now AI is building itself. It's not even human beings. And so, like, we just don't have the processing power to do this stuff. To put it in perspective, I don't know how much people are aware of this, but there is a company now. I believe they're called Goliath. I could be wrong. But anyways, this is a company that is bringing back extinct species. Super cool stuff. Like, for instance, there was um this animal. It was kind of like a fox that was in Australia. It was called a thylacine. And back in the early 1900s, it was hunted to extinction. And it was because farmers were blaming losing their livestock on this animal and poaching it. And so they hunted these animals to extinction. We found out later on that these farmers were really just messing with each other's livestock, right? And so they hunted these animals to extinction, and it created this huge ecosystem imbalance. Well, this company is now bringing them back. They've brought back dire wolves. They've brought back some other stuff. Their mission is kind of to bring back animals that specifically human beings have been the catalyst for them going extinct. But they're the ones that I believe pioneered the CRISPR technology that we've heard a lot about, which this is where they can do gene editing now. And I actually saw recently they were able to use gene editing, this CRISPR technology, I believe, to heal somebody that had sarcoidosis, which is a connective tissue disease. So they're doing incredible stuff. So again, to put this in perspective, for decades, human beings have not been able to figure out how proteins work on the DNA level. Proteins they have all these crazy dynamics to them. They fold in all these weird ways, and just we couldn't get it. When one of the iterative AIs came out, this would have been about a year and a half, 2 years ago, they plugged in all the data that they had already on proteins, and within, like, couple weeks, AI's like, "Oh, yeah, this is how you do this stuff." So and again, these things are growing at the speed of light now. So they're plugging these gaps that we have not been able to, and I mean, like, that quick, and it's moving at a logarithmic scale, meaning, like, 10 times, 10 times, 10
Well,
times.
once they incorporate it with quantum computing, it's going to be
Absolutely.
absolutely game changing.
So this is like when you get into, like, for instance, green energy, right, has been cost prohibitive. When you look at the issues when they were pushing, electric vehicles and what
Allegedly.
allegedly, when they were pushing, all these electric vehicles and whatnot, seemed great, you get great gas mileage, but then the battery goes out and, oh, wow, $6,000, didn't see that coming, right?
Way more than $6,000.
Okay, so even more. So
You
the
might as
problem
well, if you have an all electric vehicle and the batteries go out,
Mhm.
you're probably at least 14 grand to replace them.
Well, what happened is people were essentially just selling their car. They're like, "I can't afford this," but
Yeah.
it sucks because they were kind of roped in with the government helping by giving these big subsidies and rebates for them. And the problem is that if you're following a capitalist society, right, the technology needs to become cost effective, and then it'll naturally take over. If it gets there and batteries are cheap enough and people can enjoy not only the low maintenance of it, but then the energy savings that they're getting from it. Oh wow, it's a home run. But if it's
Exactly.
not there and you push it into it, you're actually setting the whole movement of going there back because now people already are like, "Whoa, they kinda got me hook, line, and sinker before, and I got screwed on this huge battery thing, so now they're gonna be less likely." But AI is gonna be able to start figuring out how to make these things more cost effective and move it at a speed which we haven't been able to.
I think that you're going to be seeing a lot more like hydrogen fuel cells in
Yeah.
the near future. And I can't really necessarily tell you what company that it's going to be because I don't know. The only one that I know that's making any headway right now is Honda.
Yeah, I heard something
But
about Toyota too. I don't remember if it was specific to hydrogen fuel cells, but I think that they had some kind of newer battery technology at the very least that was looking,
so
like, super
yeah, I
promising.
believe Toyota had better batteries, or they
Yeah,
had a different technology for the batteries. But Honda was actually making
the hydrogen fuel cell.
the hydrogen fuel cell that was had a lot of potential.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering if we're going to see that in the next few years.
hopefully,
Yeah.
but again, this is what's interesting. So, it's cool that we're tying it into capitalism because, again, when capitalism drives, pun intended, uh, the thing is that technology should push the cost of things down. What's really screwed us is having the market perverted in a way that, like, for instance, giving rebates for vehicles that maybe weren't, cost effective yet, and then people get on the hook for that. Um, Lost my train of thought there.
They're on the hook for the new vehicles,
Well, the
the
market
lithium
perverted,
ion. Yeah. Yeah.
but again, perverted. Well, and then I'm sorry, I remember where I was going. And then inflation, right? So you have technology trying to push the cost of things down. And I think you can see this, like, all the stuff that we buy for our house now, right? Like, we've all been on Amazon and found, like, okay, I got a perfect example. I f- I found this thing where you can clean your ears, but it has a fiber optic camera on it, and it hooks to Bluetooth to your phone. It's like $12,
I
but
need
it's
that in my life.
dude, amazing. And when you get in there and you're like, oh my god, it's like a whole other planet. But like, like 12, $15. But that's something that what, like 10 years ago would have been something you'd only see in a doctor's office and probably cost $300.
Sure.
So technology will push the cost of things down, but now people aren't even feeling that in the areas that it's working because of inflation, because our currency is all messed up.
Well, here's what we're having a problem with. So when we're talking about inflation, AI, jobs, I'm going to tie it all in together right
Yeah,
now.
do it. Tie it.
So everyone's pushing, if not already pushing for minimum wage, $15, and I'm all for people making a fair living. But you have to remember, minimum wage was started for entry level, and it wasn't a means for an entire career. So example, you have a fast food chain that has to pay their workers $15 an hour. I'm not saying that maybe the workers are amazing, but an AI product and a robot can take over that person's job and might cost them $100,000. Well, that ROI, return on investment, is replacing somebody within a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying there? So this is where it gets really scary if you have a lot of customer base or labor based employment. AI could very well be coming for that job.
And this is where we have to, you did a really good job of tying it in there. And this is where
Yeah.
we have to start having these uncomfortable conversations, like, and Elon has brought this up in addition to anybody else who's trying to prepare us for what this is going to do. You're getting into a territory where there could be so much job disruption, where you might have to like look at like a universal basic income.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, it really is getting to that point. I don't know. I
because if
couldn't even
not,
tell.
people are going to go nuts, and you're going to be dealing with a lot of
Crime would definitely go up when people start getting stressed.
yeah.
That is a correct statement.
But we do have to plan for it because again,
Yeah.
and the irony is now they're talking about areas that they had not necessarily foresaw. Maybe people in those specific industries were thinking about it, but as a general public, like, now I know lawyers, AI can do that way more efficiently, right? Um, you get into like medical assistants and a lot of basically anything where you're doing like documentation, clerical work, stuff like that, all out the window. A lot of physicians, right? Like you could probably do with less physicians if AI is helping them document and making their time more efficient. I actually just saw
Exactly.
that the first completely robotic surgery was done, meaning, a human just oversaw it in case there was a complication, but literally the robot did the entire surgery. I forget specifically where it was. It was in the United States and it was just gallbladder surgery. But I mean, this thing did it perfectly, because it's
Well,
not a
that's a
human being.
little scary,
It's wild, man.
just just based on the fact that, the surgeon might hit the wrong button and chop off an appendage or something like that.
Well, yeah, if they're piloting the robot, but this robot was
No,
operating
I'm
on its
talking
own.
about like, let's take the gallbladder out, but accidentally
Yeah. Well,
remove
when you think
something
about it,
else.
human beings are fallible, right? Like
Yeah.
they're just people, and God forbid he or she is going through a bad divorce, maybe drinking a little bit and coming in a little hungover. No, but really, I mean, they're human beings. And
How
so
crazy how I'm bringing it back to
yeah.
when we were discussing, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when I was plugging in all kind of analytics to AI,
Mhm.
and how crazy was it spitting out, and let's
Yeah.
not go into the detail what it was
No.
about, but how crazy was it that it was spitting out probabilities and actually getting pretty damn close to what actually occurred.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. And again, it's just wild because it can parse all of the data that we have, right? And make these prognostications and whatnot. And again, very accurately. Like, and this is just right now. These things are moving at light speed. So what you had already was pretty crazy in terms of
Yeah.
how accurate it was. A year from now, it'll be 100 times ahead of where it was.
Oh, I'm sure. The only
Yeah,
thing I couldn't take into consideration is human emotion.
sure.
But I mean, I guess
I don't know
scrubbing.
though. I don't know because like if we look back on that
Careful.
stuff, no, 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 no. Yeah, no, I promise. Um, if you look back on that stuff, it may not understand human emotion, but it
Yeah.
certainly it was very predictive. And so
It was very predictive within, I mean, percentages and time frames were spot on.
maybe it doesn't understand it, but it certainly had to take that into account for the algorithm to get to where it was going, you know?
No, exactly.
So,
Crazy algorithm.
dude,
A lot of
yeah,
data points.
crazy. But yeah, so I think the big thing is that people should definitely be thinking about the type of job that they do. You should be trying to provide some insulation for yourself and your family. So if you are in a very clerical field, you may want to start looking into options, places where you have to deal with human beings. I think in healthcare, we're going to be pretty good. The only question is, like, if AI makes documentation like that much better, like maybe you get a little bit more efficient. You can do with an employee or two less. But I think, bedside, you're going to do okay. Those higher level things, the insurance in the background, the administrative tasks, those things are going to get banged up over the next 5 to 10 years.
Sure. I think anything that's a decision-making process is probably
All
going
going
to
to be
be on its way
algorithms,
out.
man. Yeah, it's all going to
It's
be,
all going to be algorithms.
yeah. And hopefully, again, assuming that the corporate class doesn't try to screw the rest of us, which often happens, if those savings are passed on to us as a society, and my understanding, like from people like Elon, they say that, like, listen, AI, if it's as good as we think it's going to be, and then we can get this onto humanoid robots, and I know that's scary, get into Terminator and all that stuff. But if you have these things that can carry out these tasks and take over what human beings are doing a lot of the time, you get into a universal basic income situation where maybe we all work 10 to 20 hours a week. And basically your job is to go and interface and do like people stuff where a human's face is, preferred over a machine. And then your job is to just be a human being and do human being stuff outside of that. It
Sure,
sounds
that'd be
kind of
great.
utopian, sure. But we're gonna have to think about it because again, if you have that massive job displacement and we don't do something about it,
Hmm.
I should.
I don't
Oh
know.
wait,
I would hedge my bets if I were.
I don't have a Terminator specific reference, but
It's not a tumor.
it's close as we can
Might
get
be.
right now.
It might be
But AI will
denied
be able
by
to
the.
tell you
Hey,
way
no,
ahead of
your
time.
your claim's been denied.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit better documentation. Yes, we see that you have a softball growing out of your head, but it could be anything.
Yeah, it really could be. No, we're not going to do the MRI. You out of your mind?
Yeah.
um, so segueing out of AI topics, one of the topics that I've been really interested in is simulation theory, and I
Mm.
think that Cory and I have had some pretty good discussions already about simulation theory, even though he won't let on it.
Yeah, well, no, I will. But here's the funny thing. Let's be real about this. You're having a little spiritual awakening right now, and that's
Yeah,
wonderful. All right. I'm very spiritual as well. I do not bank everything on simulation theory. And to make it easy for anybody who's seen The Matrix, that's simulation theory. The idea that this whole thing that we're experiencing is in some type of, computer or whatever. So to me, being somebody who, again, is more on the spiritual side, I just appreciate life and I live in gratitude because I just think the world's amazing. Love animals, love plants, just I am not hung up, and this is where I have a little bit of a difference with organized religion. I'm just not hell bent on being sure about something that I just don't think we can be sure about. So I am very comfortable with the idea that whatever is giving me an internal compass, whether it's God, whether it's just nature telling me to be good, whatever it is, I'm very comfortable with the idea that if I treat other things with respect and try to do good and collaborate and work with the other living things around me, that I'm putting good karma into the world, that if there is a God, then that God appreciates it. But to me, I think that people aren't being real if they don't say any of these things that are out there could be true. So I don't put simulation theory above anything else, but I don't put it below anything else either. I think
sure.
it's just as likely that simulation theory could be real and we could be living in some type of of computer simulation, or Christianity could be real. I
Yeah.
don't, or the Big Bang could be real, and this could all mean absolutely nothing. I don't think we have
So,
anywhere near enough data to.
so our boy Elon
Mhm.
is calculating the probabilities that this is not the base reality to be 1 in 1 billion. So he's speculating that there's only a 1 in 1 billion chance that this is the base reality, and there's multiple inclin uh, inclinations. I don't. What's the
Incarnations, I think. I think it's
incarnations?
incarnations. I think.
Incarnations of reality.
Yeah.
So this could be the base reality. This could be
Well, and
a billion times out.
the other funny thing, right, is that it could be combinations of things too.
Oh, shit.
You
About
know?
died.
You all right?
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
it could be combinations of things. Like,
That's what you call karma.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, be careful. But yeah, it could be a combination of all those things. Like the Big Bang could be true, but like you get like way in the weeds. But there is a science out there, and I forget specifically what this specific one is. But their whole idea is that they see the universe expanding and it's getting slower and slower, and they think that this could have been going on for eternity, where everything expands out, and then when it hits that point, it comes back in, smashes all back together, everything is gone, and then as whatever that mass and energy builds, eventually it, Big Bang back out over the course of trillions. So there's all these crazy ideas out there, but let's be real.
So I have a hard time. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I've heard the Big Bang Theory a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, I've heard it throughout my entire life. But what I have a hard time thinking about the Big Bang Theory versus
Did you
creation,
say the Big
or
Brain Theory?
the Big Bang Theory
Yeah.
or creation, is things don't tend to come together
So this
after
is gonna be the
yeah,
order does
the
not come from disorder, right? That's that
yeah,
argument.
exactly. So
And I get that, honestly.
shatter a glass on the floor, and I don't care, in a billion years, it's not going to become a glass again.
Well, right, you can't drop all the pieces and expect it to reform.
Exactly. How do you explain
So,
life? How do you explain
yeah,
consciousness out of disorganization?
and honestly, that's been the best argument that I've heard out
Yeah.
of all of them. The only thing I would say is that as human beings, we're so fallible I mean, we're fallible, but not only that, our perception is so limited. Like, one of the things that has made me more open to simulation theory recently is like when you think about our existence, right? Like I remember like growing up and like as you learned more, you're like, wait. We're on this thing. And if you go far enough off of this thing, there's just nothing. Like literally you'll just legit die. It's a vacuum. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And then randomly, like millions of miles away, there's other stuff. And then trillions of miles away, there's other stuff. It's crazy. So, when you think about it from like a video game perspective, and I know that some people may not appreciate that as an example, but I think for people that do appreciate the idea of a video game, right? And rendering. So rendering is all the stuff that you're interacting with or you can see in a game. And obviously that takes a lot of energy to make that happen. And as we've gone further over like the last 20 years since we've come out of our teens, it's just crazy, right? Like you play a game like Grand Theft Auto, you can have a whole city rendering around you. So it's funny because you can kind of see how that works. And like, if you were going to make a simulation, you would certainly want to be careful about how much energy consumption and processing power you were using. So the idea that we're on this spherical thing in the middle of nowhere with nothing else and we can't even escape it is kind of convenient if
No,
you were to go down that road.
I agree with you. How many times did I tell you about like things that I notice when I do something out of my
Hmm.
character?
Yeah.
Like, say I'm going down a road that I normally wouldn't go down, or something I'm doing it at a time that I normally wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing that at. And every single time, some reason I get behind a big ass truck.
Yeah.
And I can't see around it, and it slows me down.
It's like the ads, like you caught the ads at the wrong time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or the
all
what do you
right,
call
hang on
it?
a second.
NPCs, non-player
Yeah,
characters, yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy because it's like, is the stuff around here just trying to catch up to rendering, and that's why it's slowing me down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm not saying I'm on simulation theory, but it does make you wonder. Like, it's weird, like how coincidentally that all that kind of stuff always happens.
Yeah,
It's like, okay,
the only thing I would say is I don't ask anybody to believe, anything. Like, all I care about is human beings being good to one another and appreciating our
yeah,
differences.
exactly. And from my story
Mhm.
that karma's real.
Oh, yeah.
You do good things, you reap the rewards of doing the good things.
Well, and not only that, I think there's a lot to be said, even if let's say that you got somebody listening and they don't necessarily want to believe in karma, but just the idea that you keep yourself in a positive headspace, invest positively into yourself, and positive things happen. It's,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
I mean, as long as you're not going to the negative side,
yeah.
good things happen. Good things happen.
So I think that's the big thing is like when you're talking about all this stuff, I get it, because right now, especially with all the crazy stuff going on, you got the mass shootings and all this stuff, and people are obviously very uncomfortable. Got the political climate going a little crazy, and so there's like this revival of faith, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's good for people to have something to be a positive force in their life and kind of anchor them to reality. The only thing that scares me is when people think that their faith is the only one, you know?
So,
That's where we go down a dangerous road. As long as you can recognize that if you have something that makes you want to be a better person on a daily basis and be good to those around you and be collaborative with those around you and live in peace, then that's all you can ask of anybody else. So as long as they have something, and even if they're a simulation theory person, or let's say they're an atheist, um, as long as they are tethering themselves to reality in a good, positive way and being good to those around them, that's all you can ask. Where
no, exactly.
we get dangerous, right, is like these nihilist people that just don't seem to care about anything and they're not tethered. And, I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of these people that are doing this scary stuff.
Well, for me, that I've definitely had a spiritual awakening. I've always had faith. I've always had faith in Jesus. I've always had faith in God. I was just never a church guy. Like,
Hmm.
I was like, I'm like, I don't need to go to church to know what I believe. And I actually probably was far off from that because once I started listening to the particular church that I'm watching on live stream now, it just all clicks now for me.
No, that's wonderful.
And like I said, it's you saw exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's a very powerful message and it just kind of solidifies your beliefs. Um, I don't agree with everything, but
sure.
at the same time, I do love the positive message
Yeah,
that
and
is
and that's what we
portrayed.
need. It needs to remain positive. The only thing that makes me wary is when we start getting into the us versus them stuff, or again, you get these people that are just so sure of themselves. Like, dude, we're on a rock floating through a vacuum. We have no idea. And it's
No,
fine if you find something that resonates with you, that's beautiful. And if you want to try to get other people on board with it, and in a reasonable way, cool. But when you start, that us versus them and like, oh, anybody who doesn't believe this, you gotta worry about them. They could, like we're all right, we're
well,
getting down a little weird road there.
well, you know how we roll. It's more of a I'm going to tell you what I think,
Mhm.
but I don't care if you. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to convince you. I'm not trying
Well,
to convince you on anything.
but again, that's the high level discourse that we maintain, and I think that's again something that we're trying to encourage. Like, if you've got something that's extremely positive in your life, and again, it tethers you to reality and makes you want to be better and collaborative and live in peace, that's beautiful. And if you want to share that with other people, that's beautiful. But don't think because people don't have that same exact belief system that they're incapable of also having something that gives them the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't necessarily want to push my religious views on anyone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want anyone to push them on me, so that's why I can have that respect.
Because here's a newsflash, I've met a lot of really shitty religious people, I've met a lot of really shitty atheists, I've met a lot of
Mm.
really shitty versions of every kind of person out there,
Oh,
and
I'm
that's what
sure.
and that's why I don't
I
judge
mean,
people based on their belief systems, I judge them based on our interactions, and how they treat others.
well, when I found myself going into the dark places, I was just like, one, I've got to improve myself, and that was just one of the stepping stones.
Yeah,
So I'm I'm very blessed, and I feel very good now, like after pursuing that.
I feel you, man.
But what else you got for me, man? You got
I
some
don't
sound effects? You
I
can
don't
make
know, but
fun
I
of me?
don't I don't think we're quite ready to wrap it up in particular because
I wish I knew how to quit you.
oh, man.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I
No,
mean,
I think it was a good, free-ranging conversation. Again, I hope that people find it, fun and, interesting,
I
and
think the next
please
one we do, I think the next one we do, I think we're going to do some more lighter conversation. This was a good one. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I think this one was the basis of what like we really want to.
Bro, we're in a populist moment, we've gotta let the people decide.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so
Maybe we should put a poll out.
I tell you what, you guys decide. Let us know what you want to hear about on the next go around. You wanted a light conversation, or do you want something heavier? Kind of how we did tonight. And if you vote for Corey's beard again, I'm going to be severely disappointed in you, and I probably will continue to roast you.
I would like to go more in depth on your journey, in particular, how when you were having a tough time, then you started
Hmm.
developing some new positive, new positive, activities and, just stuff that you were putting yourself into, that you developed this highly cultivated and very stimulating algorithm on your phone of sweaty men, shirtless.
Oh, shut up. I don't know how the algorithm got me, but it did. It's still populating, and they're telling me how to
Is it weird that,
build
like,
muscle.
you never thought that you could be one of those guys, but, like, you would, like, look at one of those sweaty men
I'd
and
be
you'd be
like,
like
I'd never.
I'd be like, "Oh, bro, you swole. Damn,
Yeah,
boy.
no shit. Damn, I wish I had some arms like
Easy,
that.
easy with the potty language. My god."
Oh, body language, huh?
Hmm.
This AI software doesn't automatically bleep it out.
God, I hope not.
That'd be great. No,
I think we're very respectful.
but that algorithm definitely got me because I'm continuing to get gym videos. And it's like, if you want to work your biceps, work them like this.
Jim, John, Harry.
And I never thought, honestly never thought I'd be a gym guy though.
Mhm.
JIM, not a JYM. JIM. No, I meant
Other
backwards.
way. No. I didn't mean going to the gym. I meant that really handsome fella down the street.
But no, I never in a million years thought that I was going to be working out
That is
5 days
quite
a
a
week.
that is quite a liberal church you're going to, huh?
Yeah.
No.
You're lucky
I'm
we're
sorry.
on TV.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You never thought you'd be a guy that'd be working out 5 days a week.
Like 5 days a week and like enjoying going. Like I always thought it was going to be a chore. No, I get up in the morning and I'm like, I'm ready to go to the gym.
Yeah, and it's
Like it's
beautiful. I
good.
mean, yeah.
No, exactly.
It's nice how as you grow older and if you do it in a good way, I mean, you develop these things that you never thought. Like, dude, I'm still blown away that I'm like more of a morning person. I remember when I was like always evening night shift and
Yeah.
it was actually my wife when we got together and like cuz she was a teacher, we just didn't have any time in common, so slowly worked my way
Well,
there, but now love it.
I go to the gym 4 a.m. and
Now
it's
is that
more
the
that
JIM or the GYM?
GYM.
So, okay, so GYM at 4 AM and
So
then JIM is
I go,
later in the
yeah,
evening?
yeah, correct. Um, anyways, but I go at 4 a.m. and it's just because there's nobody there. If I go
Yeah.
in the afternoon, it takes me twice as long, and I just don't think I'd be as dedicated at that point.
That's what she
Like,
said.
she did say that. She's just like, I'm not dedicated anymore. I got you.
It
Well,
rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
uh-huh. It sure does.
No, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else, but I'd like you to close it out and tell everyone what we're thinking.
Well, I would just like to thank everybody who is tuning in and sending out the nice messages and giving us some love. We genuinely appreciate people listening because this is a labor of love for us. We enjoy having these conversations, and we always wanted to share it with others, and so it means the world to us to be able to do that. So please, give us ideas, and anybody that wants to actually come on and discuss things, that's cool too. Like, we want this to be a community and hopefully just, again, bringing people together.
Yeah, we want to definitely interact with you, so please comment anything. I
And
don't
definitely beard love, because come on,
beard.
man, look at this thing.
Yeah, you need a weed whacker.
This is a work
Yeah,
of art.
but anyone
This
that wants to,
makes me think that there might be a God, because how can something this magnificent just be random?
and if anyone wants to have a whole podcast about Corey's mom,
Oh,
please
dude,
let
we're
us
doing
know.
it. We're definitely doing that. Colleen is on board.
I don't know Corey's mom,
She's going to
but
be so thrilled when she's
I'm sure
watching
she's
this
a
part.
wonderful lady.
When she's watching this part of the podcast, us talking about this, me saying her name, dude, she's
Stop it.
ready. She's
Game
ready.
over. All right. Well, again, thank you guys for watching. Please like and share, and I'm out.
Have a good night, bro, and everyone be awesome to one another.
Please.